Hey, it's Sharon, and I'm sorry it took me so long to get back to you, but all three of my closest family members, my mom, my brother, and my sister, had a trip to the hospital in both June and July. My sister in August, so it was kind of a crazy summer for me. Anyway, I'm back and I'm ready to teach you more about buying a home. There's a lot of videos out there about buying a home, but I don't know how many of them are actual loan officers, real estate agents, or do both. However, I have done both since 1983, and I bought my first property back in 1980-ish. Okay, and I still have that property. And on my last video, I talked to you about your income. What income counts when I'm buying a home? Does my overtime count? You know, I just got a second job. How long do I have to be on the second job before anything counts? Pretty much everything has to be 2 years, a 2-year history of being able to have proof of your overtime, and a 2-year history, if you have 2 jobs, of showing that you could be on 2 jobs for more than 2 years. So they're gonna look at your primary job first, and then they're gonna look at your second job, see how long you've been on it, and what kind of work you're doing, and if it makes sense that you can feasibly keep going on both jobs after you buy the home. So one of the questions I ask a lot of buyers, and I wanna make sure you understand this, is what I'm going to do is, in my last video, I said I'd go over how credit works, but I also said I'd go over how you too can calculate your own income. How about that? So before you even talk to a real estate agent or a loan officer, you can jot down some numbers and see what you think you can qualify for, and give yourself a good idea so you don't go into shock when you go, well, my normal rent payment's $1,900 a month, and it looks like I can afford a $2,800 house payment. That's a big jump, and I don't want to do that. So the other thing that I want to mention is there's a lot of buyers out there being really unreasonable, and you can't be unreasonable when it comes to buying a home, because one of the things that is negotiable, okay, is the interest rate. The interest rate is negotiable between you and your loan officer, but only to a point, because the loan officer, the interest rate that you get also depends on how much commission's coming in and the loan amount that you're getting. So our commission is based on the loan amount that you're getting, not necessarily the interest rate. However, the loan officer, based on their commission, can figure out what interest rate you can get and what you qualify for. And that can be negotiated between you and your loan officer. However, when it comes to the purchase price, in California, it's not going to be very negotiable. And I just had a doctor's appointment today, and I was speaking to my doctor who's super interested in real estate, and he sees my YouTube page, and he goes, "You really don't think prices are going to come down?" Let me explain. Right when COVID first hit, all of us really thought that we were going to see a dip in real estate, because there's a 10-year cycle in California, and there's pretty much a 10-year cycle in most real estate markets. And the 10-year cycle just goes up and down, and it gives an opportunity for some people when it's down to buy, of course, buy when it's down and sell when it's up. However, the problem seems to be this, and it's getting more and more obvious, that California is probably not going to go down. And the reason it's not going to go down is when COVID hit, a lot of sellers who were going to sell decided they weren't going to sell. Then once they stayed in their homes for a long time working on their computers from home, their offices went, wait, instead of moving closer to the office, how about you commute only 2, maybe 3 days a week? And people went, well, I can deal with it 2 or 3 days a week. I've been dealing with it for 5 days a week. So maybe I don't have to sell. And then the other hand, some people went, wow, I'm really comfortable in my home because it was really safe during COVID. So I want to stay in my home, even if I have to drive. So a lot of California homeowners not going to sell. The other problem that we have is, I call them the monsters. They're the big companies that are coming in and buying up property in California, because real estate in California is like buying gold. It doesn't look like it's going to go down anytime soon. So those of you that are thinking about buying, you know, I was talking to my doctor today. I was in the nail salon yesterday, and a lady asked me, when's it going to come down? And I said, I really honestly don't think it's going to. And I've bought and sold real estate in California. I hate that I sold any of it, but that's when you flip a home, you know you're going to sell it. So honestly speaking about the market going down, as much as I thought it was going to, it may come down a little bit. It may trickle down a tiny bit, but it looks like it's going to go back up. The problem is supply and demand. We don't have enough supply because, like I was just going to say, the big monsters, and one of that's Warren Buffett's company, is coming in and buying up the real estate. So if they're coming in and they're buying a bunch of real estate and they're paying cash, the seller's going to go straight to those cash buyers. So that doesn't leave a lot of room for you first-time home buyers or people looking to move up. The other thing is people think Zillow is the best thing since sliced cheese. Well, Zillow sued the National Association of Realtors. I always say it wrong, even though I'm on the board in my association. It's Realtor. So Realtore is how you pronounce it. Anyways, they sued us saying that, we want to be brokers and we should be able to do what you do, and on and on and on and on. You can look it up. It's public knowledge, and that's why I can say that. But anyway, and Zillow basically became a broker. So being a broker, they're now our competition. And see, there's a thing called unfair and deceptive advertising, and Zillow's doing that right now. And I know because I instruct the mortgage classes. MLO stands for Mortgage Loan Originator. And when you teach the mortgage loan origination classes, we have to follow the law. And the law says, under RESPA and under Truth in Lending Act, that you have to tell the truth in an ad. And I'm going to give you a story about how the truth is not being told by Zillow. And if they're not telling you the truth about how much a payment is going to be, how much are they telling you the truth when they're showing you your closing costs and then at the end your closing disclosure? So not saying they're total liars, but let me give you an example. So one of my new real estate agents, she's brand new, she just got her license, got a veteran that wants to buy. And this story goes into unrealistic and Zillow with their unfair advertising. So unrealistic. He asked what he qualified for, and he can buy whatever he wants depending on how much money he has. And on VA, we looked at the VA prices. And by the way, VA has changed their rules. And a lot of people don't know this. If you're a veteran, there's no cap on how high you can go on the purchase price as long as the appraisal comes in. So it used to be that a veteran had limits based on the county. So I'm guessing I can push him up probably up to $600,000. The problem is he wants a payment at $1,900. That's why I'm talking about buyers that are unrealistic. If you're saying you want to buy a $600,000 house, but you want a payment of $1,900, that's not negotiable. And the reason that's not negotiable is the interest rate is negotiable based on, the loan amount, because there are different types of loans. We have conforming loans and we have jumbo loans. We have VA loans, we have FHA loans. So there's all different types of loans that will fit you, and you need to talk to your loan officer about which is best for you. And since I'm doing a series on how to buy a home, the next video will talk about VA, FHA, conventional, and jumbo loans. So I'll tell you about the different types of loans and what you can look at. However, I want to help you understand as much as I can. So let me explain first the veteran who wants to buy something that doesn't seem realistic. So he wants me to negotiate the payment. He's like, your payment's $2,600, but Zillow says the payment's going to be $1,900. Well, let me ask you a question. If Zillow's showing you a picture of a home, okay, you see the home, and then it says the payment's $1,900. The first question is this. Actually, it showed the home that we actually showed him the home, and he goes, well, I don't see anything I like. And then he sends us back a picture from Zillow that shows one of the homes. And in that picture of that home, it says, you can have this house for $1,936 a month. That wasn't on a VA loan. And it wasn't on any kind of loan that we know, because what's deceptive about that ad is, number one, what kind of loan is it and how much is the down payment? It doesn't say. So it could be 20% down. It could be 50% down with a high interest rate. It could be a loan where it's interest only. You're only paying interest and you're not paying principal. But one of the things I do know is at $1,900, it's not including your property taxes and your homeowner's insurance. If you put less than 20% down on your home, you have to have, I'm sorry, I messed up right there. I'm really sorry. If you put down more than 20%, you don't have to have impounds. But if you put less than 20% down, which you're going to do on a VA, FHA, possibly a conventional loan, and maybe even a jumbo loan, you can put less than 20% down. But if you put less than 20% down, most cases you're going to have what we call an impound or an escrow account. With FHA, VA, yes, absolutely. Okay, now what that means is, let's say that your property taxes are $12,000 a year. That means $1,000 a month is added to your house payment. So at the end of the year, you don't pay your property taxes. Your lender who's collecting your house payment pays your property taxes with the money that you paid every month. Now, if you have homeowner's insurance, that's $1,200 a year, then you have an extra $100 a month added to your house payment. So you have to have your property taxes and your homeowner's insurance added into your payment. So when I calculated the house payment on that particular home on a VA loan, with the house payment and the taxes included, the payment was roughly about $2,600 a month. But Zillow's advertisement said, own this home for $1,936 a month. Well, yeah, How much is the down payment, and does it include taxes and insurance? And legally by law, if you advertise a payment, this is according to the Truth in Lending Act. It's a law. If you advertise a payment, you have to tell me what is the down payment, what type of loan it is, and mostly, and definitely written in the law is, if it does not include the property taxes and the homeowner's insurance, it must say that conspicuously and in prominence, right somewhere by the payment, this does not include your property taxes and homeowner's insurance. And that's the law. So right now I'm talking about different types of loans. I promised you that I would talk to you about credit, but honestly, I think I taught you a lot about when you're looking at houses and you're looking at the payment's not negotiable, but the purchase price, in most places, not in California right now, the purchase price is going to be negotiable. The interest rate is going to be negotiable. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take the purchase price, you see how much you're going to put down, and then you're going to get your loan amount. If you're on FHA or VA, you're going to have mortgage insurance added to the top of the loan on FHA, and on VA, you're going to have your veteran funding fee added to the top, and that's going to get your loan amount. So I know you're super excited about getting into the numbers, and we'll get into the numbers, but next, I promised I'd talk to you about credit. Okay, so I want to get you started on looking at your credit. One of the first things you really need to do is you need to go on to Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. So I started with Experian because they're the easiest one. And I went ahead and I uploaded their app on my phone, and I saw what my credit score was. Then they actually allow you to look at your credit report. If you look at your credit report, you can see if there's any late payments or slow payments. If you don't have any payment, if you don't have a credit history at all right now because you're young and you're new to this, there's a lot of ways that you can build your credit. Now, one of the first ways is make sure you pay your landlord on time. The next thing that you can do is there is a bank, it's called Bank One, okay? So it's called Bank One, and what they'll do is you give them $500 and they'll give you, it's like a debit card for the same amount. Once you show that you use that debit card and make the payments on time, then they'll offer you more credit. And then eventually it'll be like a credit card. Okay, so basically that's one way that I teach people how to add to their credit. Okay, then the next thing you can do is they'll offer you a second account that's just a credit card. So with it's Bank One. And if you can't find it, text me, comment. I do answer my comments, and that's gonna start you on your way. The next thing you want to look at is if you have any collection accounts. Those collection accounts need to be taken care of depending on how old they are. So now if you have a collection account or a 30-day late or a 60-day late on your credit report, and it's almost 7 years old, if it's a collection account and they have not sued you and it's past 4 years, after 4 years, they cannot sue you. So if it's 4 years and 1 day, you don't have to pay it, but it's going to show on your credit report for 7 years from the time that you stopped paying it. So bad credit shows for 7 years. Depending on how old it is, may be your determination if you're going to think about, should I pay it off so I can just buy a house now? Because you can't buy a home and you can't get a mortgage if you have collection accounts or judgments that need to be paid. So those are the things that you need to start looking at on your credit. What we're looking for on FHA is all you need, in most cases, is a 620. You can go as low as a 580 credit score, okay? But we really need to look at how old that credit is, the bad credit, okay? On Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which is the normal loans that you're looking at when you're a first-time home buyer, is you really should have minimum is 620. They won't go any lower than that. If you have a 740 or higher, 740 or higher will get you the best interest rates. Literally, if you're at a 739, you're going to get a worse interest rate. So your interest rate depends on your credit score 100% and what type of loan you're getting. So I'm already into 14 minutes. I hope you learned something. What I'll do is I'll start the next video with credit, and I'll start the next, and after the credit part, I'll go into the numbers. So you're gonna need to have a piece of paper and a calculator and a pen, and I'm gonna show you how to take your numbers and figure out what you actually qualify for and the house payment that you need. One of the other things I wanna throw at you while you're thinking about buying is don't think that you do need 20% down. Because another little story I have to tell you is I I was teaching a seminar at a hotel, and the girl goes, "Oh, you're the real estate instructor?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she goes, "You know, my husband and I are almost there. We really want to buy a home this year." And I said, "Well, you know, what's almost there?" And I thought she was going to say like $10,000 or $12,000, because even on FHA, depending on your purchase price, FHA, so that you know, is 3.5% down. There's also down payment assistance programs that can help you with your down payment and your closing costs. However, the problem there is with our market and those investors like Zillow and Warren Buffett coming in here and buying our properties, those cash buyers are going to beat you unless you have a really great real estate agent who knows how to work with the listing agent, and that's possible. So you're going to need 3.5% down plus a minimum of 2% for closing costs. So figure on 5.5% if you're going FHA for your down payment. Okay. So think about what you're selling. Anyway, the girl said to me, she goes, "Oh, we have like $75,000. We wanted to save 100 grand before we purchase." I'm like, "Are you kidding? You're ready now. And the sooner the better, because prices in California are only going up." So remember that. So the 3 things that we look for: how much money do you make? So that's your debt to income ratio. So we're looking at how much money you're making and how much money you're spending every month, so that we can see how much you can afford to increase your payment so you can own a home. Now, what I was also talking about on the taxes, that $7,000 deduction, I also mentioned that you're also going to get the interest rate deduction. So what you can do is you can claim more dependents, so you can get more money in your hand from your job to go ahead and pay for the higher house payment that's going to have you be able to afford that new home. So there's so much I can teach you, and I just have so much, and I want to help you so you understand how to buy a home. Because if I can get you to understand how to buy your first home, then I can help you buy your second home and your investment home, and learn all about the different aspects of real estate investing and owning. So I hope I helped you. If you have any questions, feel free to comment on my comment. Definitely put the thumbs up for liking. And like I said, I'm here to help you buy real estate.